Hey guys, it's Matt Miller with American Wire, and today we're taking a look at this clip of Bill Maher, who absolutely goes off at this woke interviewer when she starts to paint Republicans as mindless zombies who are just going along with everything Trump says. He says, hold on a sec, the left needs to look at what their part in this is too, and especially the woke Gen Z crowd who has created a worldview that is so repelling and so horribly bad that it pushes people to the other side no matter what. Bill Maher absolutely tears into him. Check it out right here.
But we've seen this unbelievable sort of aphasia that seems to have set in, and where, Trump goes to Washington and they literally line up these, like absolute moral amoeba to sort of turn themselves around and kiss his ring. It's an amazing thing to see. It's like a cult. Do you have any sort of explanation of how this is going to happen to so many formerly, it seems sensible people who even said, as you said, after January the 6th, that this
part of it, the left has to own. They are aggressively anti-common sense. The Democrats keep running on this one idea, saying to the American people, you can't possibly think you can do worse than Donald Trump. And they keep saying, yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. And I understand that. I do. I would never vote for Donald Trump. And as I said, I think the Republicans are worse. But yeah, when it's funny, when I talk to, my friends around my age, 40, and they are always bitching to me about their kids who are like in their 20s, and they're like super uber woke, and they're driving their parents crazy. And everything is like, you don't get it, Mom. That's old thinking. And I'm like, don't get what? Abolish the police, tear down statues of Lincoln, maybe give communism another shot, get rid of the Border Patrol, get rid of capitalism. White supremacy has never been worse. Gender is always just a social construct. It's okay to have penises in the women's swimming pool in women's prisons.
Okay,
no, it's not that I'm old, it's that your ideas are stupid. And
well, okay, so you're very cantankerous.
When people talk about Trump, that's what they should be talking about. Like, why do people, because a lot of conservatives say to me, what you don't get about Trump is we don't like him either.
Right. Yeah, they just hate the other stuff more.
And I don't understand, I don't blame them, because a lot of it is closer to their own home. Like the things you hate about Trump, democracy, I understand why that's the biggest issue, but a lot of people, it's kind of vague. Ukraine's very far away, but the stuff about family and race and gender, it's very close to their own home.
Yeah, and yet you could argue that it's the octogenarians who are really causing most of the problems at the moment. You're quite sort of tough on the millennials, but they have to deal with all these octogenarians who refuse to leave the stage, who've left them bankrupt, who've taken all their social security. So there is a lot of
the older people this time are for Biden.
Yeah,
this is the first time in many, many elections where the older crowd, that's what was my editorial Friday night, was talking about this. For the first time, they are lining up behind Biden more than the Republican. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean to the millennials or the Gen Zs, but when I see them with their Queers for Palestine banners,
I know that's the one that really gets to you.
I'm out. Okay.
I know.
So no doubt about it, Bill Maher is a smug liberal to the core. But I will say that he makes a lot of sense, and his willingness to reach across the aisle and talk to Republicans in a way that is not condescending and is blunt and honest is refreshing. And you got to give the guy credit for that. He's able to and willing to reach across and see the right's point of view. And I think that makes him a powerful orator and gives him a powerful perspective on politics. When we see so many on the left that are all into the business of demonizing Republicans and refusing to see their worldview on anything. So I just want to give him some credit there. The other thing with Bill Maher is, especially in this case, is he perfectly paints the problem with the radical sect of the left. And it's driven by the younger lefties, the Gen Zs and the millennials, who are basically wanting to overhaul and deconstruct all of Western civilization, capitalism, all of the institutions that have made America great, that have made the West great, and they want to deconstruct all of it. And there's actually a word for it. It's called critical theory. Go ahead and Google that. Look into the Frankfurt School, critical theory, and where these activist ideologies come from and really what their roots are and what the true agenda is. I won't go into that here because that's kind of a rabbit hole, but definitely look into that. And that's kind of what he's starting to point at here. Those on the radical left have basically painted themselves into a corner where unless you ascribe to every point of their extreme ideology, they banish you, they ostracize you, and they shame you. If you're not 100% anti-capitalist, pro-Palestine, pro-gender-affirming care for minors, pro-unmitigated open borders immigration, if you're not 100% against Trump, you need to think the guy is evil. And if you're not so energetically supportive of all these points, then they want nothing to do with you. And in fact, they want to deplatform you. They want you to lose your job, and they want to yell at you. And they end up alienating themselves ultimately. So I'm hoping that effect is correct. I mean, he says in this interview that Trump will likely win. And I think that that's true. I agree with him. Trump will likely win in 2024 because we've seen what Biden has done, and we see what he's capable of, and really nobody's impressed by it. The thing with Biden is that the radical left group that Bill Maher is talking about here is they hate him too. I did a video in New York a few weeks ago where I was asking NYU students in Washington Square Park to describe Biden in 2 words. Now, these were half the people I talked to, I think, were trans or non-binary. These are very young kids, 20 years old, 25 years old, and they all tore Biden apart. They called him genocidal. They called him an old, ridiculous old man who's asleep at the wheel and he's demented and all this stuff. And they tore him apart just like I would expect if I went out into middle America, into Trump country, and asked them to do the same thing. Describe Biden in 2 words. And they would tear him apart just the same way. They'd probably use a lot of the same phrases as well. So I don't know where the love is for Joe Biden. And I think that it's kind of a horseshoe effect where the right and the far left kind of have the same feelings about Joe Biden. And this should bear well for Trump, I think, in this debate tonight and also in the coming election in November. It's funny to watch. You can see this lady is not totally buying everything Bill Maher's saying about the Gen Z lefties as well, because maybe she's part of the group of liberals who are kind of hesitantly going along with the extremist ideology. It takes a tremendous amount of courage that they just don't have to buck the system and say, well, no, this stuff is crazy. This stuff is going too far, like Bill Maher is. Bill Maher's a liberal, but he actually has the courage to push back against the radical sect of his side and tell it like it is. And somebody's got to. Maybe they'll listen to him if they don't. Obviously, they're not going to listen to Trump supporters or people on the right, but maybe they'll listen to him and his critiques of their ideology and just reel it in a little bit, because we can't take these people seriously, and we can't be afraid of them either, whether you're on the right or the left. An extremist is an extremist, and you need to confront their ideology and critique it, and not be afraid to do so. Not let the bullying get to you. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought of this clip, this back and forth, in the comments. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.